that I'm not getting any kind of surprises here. So this is my monthly here. So I'll just kind of, so if you guys look at the monthly profile here, it's very close to our first sigma, right? So here I would say the first sig and this one here are what, maybe 2 points away. So for me, I will not draw too many charts, lines on my level. What you can do in this case is you just have a little cloud. I mean, and you should be able to remember one level is 2 points above in terms of the profile. And if you look at the whole month of April, is pretty much what we grabbed as our sigmas. You can literally take the PVP of April and use it from there. Let me see. Is it live on YouTube? Does anyone know? Just so we know if you have a link for the watch list. I believe it is, but
I'm gonna double check right now.
if it's not, I'll record it here. I just want to make sure you guys have it.
We are live in YouTube, folks.
Yeah, we're there. Just a little lagging. Okay, so I'm not gonna add those levels, and then if you guys look here, you can do the same thing here. So the the difference is 5 points. I mean, is it a big difference? Maybe, but I'm not gonna be stressing too much over the levels. So for me, this is the first sig area, and then the POC actually is right on 41.53, and that's the level that we bounced from on Friday, if you guys recall. When everybody was afraid to buy, we said that this was a really good opportunity.
I don't know. I've never seen the movie.
You're talking about the March levels?
Okay, somebody has to go on mute. All right, let's go. Got it. Okay. No, I'm talking about the level on Friday that we bounced. One was the 45.350. You see the little candle right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the really good bounce that we got, and then it proceeded to rip higher. If you guys recall, it just kind of exploded from there. So that level is going to be pivotal, right? If we do lose this level 41.74, I would expect us that we are potentially going to go, towards the POC, but that's still to be seen, right? I would be careful kind of watching that level here for shorting opportunity. Under this level, I would consider short to the POC, but we got to see this fail nicely inside and then drive it to the bottom here. As of right now, they do have the sentiment on the bullish side, and the volume, if you guys look at these 2 hours, they're pretty aggressive here. If you guys look at the 4 hours, the volume is kind of climbing up. The second half of the 4 hours is not. If you guys check on the daily, both of these are above the average volumes, right? Are the candles a little bit exaggerated, meaning, the bullish follow through? I would say most likely yes. You have a giant green candle with, above average volume. And then if you look relatively to the left, right, anytime you had that, so I would say, you probably had a little bit more volume on this candle. This candle had a lot more volume, but a smaller body, I would say, than this one. So relatively speaking, the volume was not there in April. And if you guys just look at it on the monthly, look at the monthly candle, look at the volume. Right, so the body of the candle is really, really nowhere. So if you look here, look at the body of the candle, tiny, right, and tiny volume. Therefore, it's not an anomaly. It's just that there was not a lot of participation from the big boys. And if you guys draw the flat level on the bottom, look at this. This is the lowest volume by far in 2023, and it is lowest volume in the year of 2022. The only other bad month that we had was in 21, and that was in August. Otherwise, this would be the lowest volume, second lowest volume in 3 years in month of April. And, a lot of people are saying this is a great breakout that we are getting on the monthly. I personally don't think it's a great breakout. Does it have potential? Yes. If you guys look right here, I'm just trying to pin that candle right here. So this is the candle. Is it above? Yeah, it's above that. But from the monthly perspective, this is the level you need to break to change what?
Structure.
Character.
It needs to change the character at this level. The structure is in the same trend. The character changes once you're putting a higher high.
That's right.
So as they did before, like I warned you guys before, they can trap a lot of people here. They can use this level 4,200 on to trap, or since there's a lot of net short positions, if you guys read the cut reports or if you look at the positioning overall, a lot of people are short. For the only way to screw them over right now is to run this to about 4,300 and kill those puts. And then remember, their goal is to get more people to jump in and be greedy. So if they can get more people, and maybe, maybe they just downplay the whole economic you know, what's going on in macro right now, and they just, you know, they could rip it to all-time highs for whatever that reason is. And the only reason I could see from the macro level they rip it is quantitative easing. If they start bailing out these companies or banks and they start pumping cash and liquidity, well, you know, people are going to put their money into the stocks and they're going to start pretty much buying it up along with the banks and the big boys. So that's something to watch out for, right? But otherwise, if you guys look here, let me show you this. If you just kind of chart this right here, same candle right here, you guys see that? I'm using the same candle on the monthly, and then come on. The bottom, what do you guys see?
A rising wedge.
An ascending wedge.
Okay. What about
Be a
now?
flag.
Yeah, bear flag.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a bear flag to me. It looks pretty good, right? Well, let's see what happens, right? Because now if you look at it, they do have that trend line on the top. I don't know where it will go away when I... So there's the trend line right here, this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just make this one maybe a little bit bigger and put it as red. I would expect action on this trend line here. So I'll just make sure it's correct. It looks somewhat correct. So I would expect a rejection at this level. And there is some, you know, levels right where we are at 42.20. There's a level there we should be aware of. I'll look at this. We looked at the 65. We look at the monthlies, right? So let me go over here. So in terms of monthly profile, if you guys look at it, so this is your month of March. We broke that. We never actually confirmed this March. We came very close, and they bounced it from February value area low, which is fairly bullish if you think about it. They did not wait to bring it back all the way down, and they were able to pump it, right? And you had an SR flip that was kind of sitting about the same level at February value area low. If you guys look right here, right here, right here, if you draw a level, it would be a flip plus the February. That level would have yielded a nice, a better, maybe hungrier bounce than this one. But this one was from Sigma 3 to Sigma 3. So it looks pretty good. Now, if they can't break this, meaning February value area highs at 41.96, we have the Sigma. If they're not able to break this and hold it and they fail, open the doors. That's all I'm going to say. Open the doors because you're going to hit every one of these suckers here. So you're going to hit the March VPOC is sitting right here. So you're going to be coming back and visiting some of these here fairly soon if you're not able to make higher highs here and clear the supply. And like I expected, you guys remember me talking about the inverse head and shoulders in one of the watch lists when I drew it? When I drew the...
Yeah.
It's all over the fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
Everyone is seeing, you know, I'm trying to draw it quickly, but everyone is seeing this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, remember, they give you the looks, and if the volume is not confirming those looks, it's not real. And I mean,
Right.
yeah. So, yeah, let's just look at the, you know, the volume and supply and see if the volume's confirming it rather than, oh yeah, that's a clear breakout. And if you guys recall, right before we got a bounce, I said they could bounce here and create a right shoulder. You guys, anyone recall that?
Yeah.
And I even mentioned the left shoulder and the right shoulder should not be symmetrically the same.
Right.
And in this case, they're not. This one is higher than this one on the bottom. So they gave them all the good looks right now. So let's see what happens, right? I'm bullish once you clean up the 42.33. I think you could run to 4,300. But for right now, this March, you know, POC and this area has to be visited fairly soon. And if you guys look here, once you exploded from January, you went high, and then you came back to that POC. And same thing happened here. When you exploded from December, you went high, and what did you do? You came back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have some unfinished business here as well. I mean, in October lows 36.94. They've spent a lot of time, but they haven't made highs. So either the buyers are going to be exhausted or they're going to pump it one more time because to exhaust the bears and then potentially go down. But let's see. I think there's a little bit more power left to push. So monthly, I would say we are right now, if you look at this, we are out of the balance on the monthly, right? So we need to get inside this green zone to be back inside the zone. This will serve as a nice bounce. This 41.75 will be really, really important. I really do think that previous week value area high and 2 sig are going to be crucial. If they fail that, that's going to be more of like a sentiment week to week change. Hey, we can't go above the value area high. If you fail to hold the value area highs of a prior week, where do you go?
Down.
Value area low.
EOC.
You go to the value area
POC
low.
and value.
First POC, you're going to visit this level. For us, it's to figure out when, right? So if you're going to be using higher time frames on something like this, 65 minutes, 1 hour are going to be great to notice the shift. Because right now they broke this, and you guys see that they came back and they did a pretty good job on a retest. They broke it, came back here, they gave a nice retest, and now they're proceeding higher. If they can take this out, 41.94, I would not be shocked if they run this from here to 42.20, and I believe there's either 2022 value area highs at that level. I'll
I just
chart it
wanted to
right
say, I'm not great at always picking out patterns, but isn't that kind of like a big cup and handle look?
now. There's a lot. I mean, there's an inverse head and shoulders. There's a cup. They're giving them everything they want.
Mm.
And the last time I've seen this was an Apple when it was at 145 and then it fell
Right.
to 95. So
Shorty, I envy your memory. I
So,
literally looked. It is 42.20.50 for 2022 value area high.
yeah,
I
remember.
envy that memory of yours.
Yeah, it's there.
42.20, yeah, 75 is what I got. So yeah.
It should be there.
Hey, Shorty. So the break of character will be over 41. Actually, right at 4,200.
Hold on 1 second. Let me just mark this one.
Okay.
Sorry, let me just mark the sucker here.
Yep.
Yeah, so 40.20 and a half, I believe it was half, maybe not. I just remember this level. It's in my head. This is 2022 value area high. And think about how big is that level.
Yeah, that's huge.
Guys, this is a fairly big level in terms of price action and price discovery. Either they're going to break it and look for new values, right? Above that, you have 44. What is this? Maybe call it 44.10ish. Yeah, 44.06, which is 21 value, right?
Hold on.
That's the high there, and this would be quick.
So I don't
If
have
they're able to break this and hold it, they would be targeting this right here, guys. Let me zoom in a little bit.
shit, they're going way up there.
But there is a quarterly cloud at 42.97 close.
Well, there's a big shelf here. I mean,
Yeah,
this shelf here, 43, 42 is big. There's a gap. If I extend these, I'll show you now.
43.28. I got the rundown POC is at 42.
Here, look at these shelves now. These should tell you everything you need to know. You don't, people don't think that there's going to be protection right here at 42085. Look at this level here. Whatever that level is, 42.37. That's a big level. Then you have another gap protection right here at this level. And then you see this shelf here. It's fairly large shelf. It's this, I mean, if I could turn off this one. So the POC is here, but look at the shelves here.
You're on yearly, right?
Yeah, this is yearly, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, this is yearly. So there's some big levels coming up here, right? And I mean, we've been running from the bottom here with, minor pullbacks. I call these minor pullbacks as you're trending up. So as you're going here, I mean, let's see what happens in 2022 value area high. If you can pop above this level, and for me, if you clear this, I would say, what did I say, 34 earlier? I'll take that back. I say clean this, 23, 22, 37. You really have a chance to then make a run all the way to 4,300. And then if you're lucky, they might do some congestion here and fall, because this shelf is not going to go away. I guarantee you that this shelf is going to be pretty big. So let me just make this a tad bit smaller so they don't overlap. Maybe 80s will do it. Yeah, there it goes. So if you guys look, this is a shelf that's major here, right? And then from here, it looks like the accumulation on the sell side happened right here. And then you have another one here, and then a giant one where we're at now. And they cleaned that one up. So 2022 value area high is going to be a crucial pivotal point for us. Okay. So that's yearly and monthly. And then if you look at the weeklies profiles, actually something is really unusual here. I want to see if you guys pick it up. I will hide this one for a moment. What's unusual about the 4-week balance here?
Well, you got
Value area high was making higher high and made lower low.
Okay.
You got 3 of them that are
POCs are going
compressed,
up.
and then the last one is really wide.
I think
The
the
value
last
area
week-
high is lower.
Okay. Good. Somebody got it.
The POCs are
Maybe-
going higher and higher, even though the
Okay.
value area is stretching.
And
Point.
also, I think that the last week's POC and the week before are the same, even though price has been in fully different places.
That's correct.
Double distribution on the last week.
That is a double distribution, yeah. So
Yeah.
would you guys
Yeah.
say the price is following value or value is following the price?
Value is following price.
That's correct. So in this case, this is a bullish trend now. Whenever the value is chasing the price, that's actually fairly bullish. So right now, in case they want it, they have to validate this 41.86. They have to come to this level here and they have to confirm 75 or 76. They need to hold this for dear life tonight. And they need volume to accumulate. And what's going to happen to this 4-week balance, right? Because all I'm grabbing is pretty much from here to the right with the FVP. So if I grab this to the right, right? So here's my FVP here. I'm just going to change this to, let's say, 68. So here's my 68, right? So they're going to have to confirm this, guys. If they really want to hold, they're going to come here and they're going to have a fight. They have to hold this first standard deviation here. And if they don't, well, there's no value found here above. They already rejected the, the 3 sig. And this move here, don't think that this move shifted the sig here. The sig is basically was figured out from these levels here, right? This is where the volume was. So that's how they figured out, standard deviation and everything that was within the mean that confirmed the standard deviations even more. So now, if they can hold this 41.75, it's going to be a quick flush all the way here. So you can catch that move about 24 points. And then if they can't hold this, you see weakness. I guarantee you there's an opposite plate 41.20. Because now people are going to start closing the shorts and they might get a little, burst. But then how do you kill the calls really quick? Elevator down. And it has to be quick, right? Does that make
So-
sense?
Yeah. So Shorty, the breakup of structure would be right up there at 40. Yeah, right there.
Now let me go in 8 hours. It's right here, this candle.
Yeah, right there.
So they need to break this, and then there's one, a higher one. I wouldn't care so much about this one
Yeah, that's
for the
that's what-
sentiment.
Yeah,
For me,
that's
it's
what-
more 4208 that I would care about.
Okay, 4.
4208 for me is.
Okay. Once
Yeah,
they
I'm on.
break that, we can pretty much say it's going. It's or
Well,
once
it
they-
has a potential, but they need to hold it, right? It's not about just changing the character and then falling. You got to go above and hold it,
right.
right? Close on the weekly above it, close on the daily, and then your sentiment shifts a little bit, right? Then you become a little bit more bullish. But then they left a lot of fear in the market of people. Hey, they can dump this. I mean, the macro environment is not healthy looking. That's all I'm going to say, right? It's not the best looking, but the liquidity injection from the Feds can really fix all of that. But then also they fuck up with the with inflation. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Shorty, where did the 41.20 come from?
42, what?
41.20, you said 41.20. On
It's
the-
the,
if we
it's
lose-
the first standard sig.
That's the first sig value area low.
of this area
Of
here.
last-
From here
Oh.
to here, it's your first sig.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
You're doing 4. Okay.
So basically, I'm grabbing the same data we had, March 31st or April 1st to the right, and I'm looking at the data. And this is my value area low. This is my value area high. I just circled them green because the monthly April value area low is right here. And the April value area high is 2 points higher than this one. So they're aligned. So in this way, I just draw a little cloud above and below so I know.
I'll get with your charts later.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then here, I would just draw this maybe somewhere around here, this zone for this to look like something like this, right? The CPOC. So now you know, right? These are the options, what they might do. And there seems to be some buyers here after hours, of course. And you see that there was a shelf here previously created, right? So if they're able to hold this by the open, you know, the sentiment could be that they're bullish. Me personally, I just don't like to buy long when I'm inside the SIGs. And I've shown you guys why last time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it again. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to buy, I mean, that's okay if you want to buy, but that's just not the setup.
Yeah. By the top, so on the bottom, so on the bottom.
And then fibs wise from the top, if you guys look. It's so hard to grab them on.
Mhm.
So if you guys look at these levels, now you're going to see some confluence levels here. So 4309 should be the 618. Yep, there it goes. And then you see this one, 4392. So there are some levels of ranges where they can come in and consolidate if they do that, right? And
Shorty, if you hold control down when you go to the candles, it'll go to the closest one.
yeah, that's what I do. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's a good shortcut. So now we're just watching. I mean, this is, if you guys look at the bounce from the bottom to the top, and I'll grab this one here. This is not the healthiest looking profile in terms of profiles, guys. I'm extending these, right? I'll extend them to like 120 or something so you guys can see it. But this is not the healthiest. You know, the price moved up. We spent a lot of time here, so it's not really a P shape in the whole scheme of things. So if you lose this level, what happens? You guys see why I say we flush? So you're really not looking to short until you get a confirmation. For me, confirmation is below the SIG. I'm not going to risk shorting 86.75 in this environment. So for me, you know, if you want to short it, sure, but they might break this out, come back, retest, go higher, and I will respect that. But I'm not going to be, you know, going heavy positions on the call side when they can do the same elevator down and screw you over a little bit, right? So let's see how they react. To me, the 42.20 is a line in the sand for bullish market. I will respect it if they can go above it. Probably reject this level that I said it's a gap protection at 42.37. If they can hold 2022 value or high, you know, I'll lift my hat and I say, hey, you guys did it. You guys are creating an imbalance to the upside.
Okay, but you can go long on the retest of the third SIG up there to 2022.
You can, yeah, you can. I mean, that's a little bit riskier, but you can, as long as you see the volume is confirming, and you know, as they're coming down on lower time frames. I wouldn't necessarily go on the first tap on the SIGs, right? I would, you know, if it goes breaks out something like this, let's say it does this. You know, I would wait for a little bit of a higher high and then take it. It's okay if you miss, you know, 6 points, but at least you have a little bit of confirmation. Hey, we want to go higher. At least I would not play it that way.
And then towards the bottom, you would do the break of the first SIG.
Yes, that's why. I mean, look at the volume, guys. I mean, I just showed you.
Yeah.
So if I look at this volume here.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. I mean, it has a little shelf. Oh, crap. Has a little shelf in between here, this one. But in scheme of things, this is, you know, there's a low liquidity area here. So I would definitely watch that. And you see where we bounced here. They went up, they created a shelf bounce. Obviously, you know, they're outside of this, you know, value area low and high of this run up is still there. So We are still inside whatever this balance was. I believe it was 2 days. We're still inside the 2-day balance.
Mm-hmm.
And if we open there, don't be shocked if we test the bottom of it, which would match our sigma here. Very close to the first sigma, right? So 41.27, Feb POCs in that area. So there's quite a big area here. But this 53 is your true sentiment shift from sigma standpoint, understanding the standard deviation. If they bring it back to a mean, you can expect a bounce again. If they lose the mean, well, then you know they're pretty serious about sell-off. Okay.
So you would still wait for a retest, right? Lose the mean, retest, and then short.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
always the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And Shorty,
And the
what does
retest
CPOC
sometimes composite profile means multiple
Composite.
days. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, run that by me again.
Which piece?
What did you say? The retest sometimes is what?
Well, the retest sometimes is quick. Remember on Friday when I said, Sunflower was trading. She said, man, this looks like a good buy, but I'm just scared.
That's where I was in the buy.
And what did I suggest? I said, of course, they make you buy into these candles, because if you did, look at your drawdown.
Yeah.
What is that? Less than a point? And then immediately, you could have taken this many ways, right? If you wanted to, call it, grab it here, and then you use a volume profile, even if you grab it from here to the left, let's say to here, well, I don't mean to extend it. Even if you took the trade up to here, 41.66, 11 points on ES is pretty good. 11 points on SPX contracts is pretty good. If you see a bounce like this and you see the volume, is fairly low. The only shelf there was a little bit here, so you trim here. You can target the POC or the high of the day. This is a big level, guys. CPOC is,
that was a great play.
this is a big level. And then you see them. If you wanted to use fibs to figure it out, you could. If you grab this right here, if you just look at the fibs route, let me enable 1272. Look where we hit. This is your 1272, and every one of them hit. And here's the 1618. They just tapped it, and they didn't like that one, and it matches with the 2 sig. So I just used the high and the low of the day here. I guess no low of the day, but this swing high to swing low, and it projected the levels. Yeah. Does everybody understand what does 1618? How do they derive this? Does everybody understand that in fibs? I know it's off topic, but I had a 101, and somebody was pretty amazed how it's calculated. Does everybody know?
No.
No.
Okay. Here's a quick lesson on the fibs. Let me hide all of this so you guys can stay focused.
I just know they work.
Okay. So all I did to get those levels, let me remove this crap, is I basically grabbed from here to the low. Fair enough. Swing high to swing low. If you want to project targets, you grab from the high to the low, and then you enable the 127 and 1618. If you want top targets, you grab from the top to the bottom, because it'll project higher. If I want to know, let's say if I want to know the levels, if it broke here from here, then all I would have to do is do it opposite of what you typically do. I'm just looking for targets. This move from here to here is considered 100%. You guys agree? This is 1. This is our move, and that's 100%.
Right.
Yes.
If I want to know 1272 of this move, so basically you take the 1272 and you say 127.2% of this move is here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fib. 1272. It's a multiplication of this point here, which if you take high to the low is 25 points. Okay. So now take 127% of that. Let's see, where's the calculator? What is it? 25.5 times, let's take 27.2.272. 693. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Plus 25.5, 32.4. You will add whatever that is. You will add those points to the bottom and the top, and you'll get the levels. Does that make sense, or did I lose you guys?
No, that makes sense. But why 272 and 618? I thought that was the question.
1618 is your inverse of 618.
Right.
That's a big level. And 127 is also a fib number. It's a fib ratio used.
Okay. Got it.
So I use that heavily. And the same thing to the upside, right? So if I wanted to, it should be the same move, right? From here to the top, let's see, where is this? So 25. If you take the 25 and you, this color here is just a little weird. So it's 4185. So if I grab this and I do the one, find out 1272 of that, it's going to fall here mathematically. And then 618. This times 1618, you're going to get the same target. You're just multiplying basically the percentages, and that's all the fibs are. So, and when you're looking for retracements, right? This is the retracement setup. So if I was looking from this, let's say this is the open. I usually like to grab 8 o'clock. So whatever the 8 o'clock. So let's say from here to here, if I want to know where's this going to retrace, then I grab from the bottom to the top to find the retracement and look. And I usually don't use 382 unless I'm measuring to see if the bulls are really aggressive or not.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, for the retracements happen within the move. Okay, retracements happen within the move, and you want to find the target. Those are extensions. So the extensions happen above the 100% because you're trying to find where's on the additional 27% of this move and where's the additional 61.8% of that move. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, good.
618.
And then are you using the retracements kind of in confluence, like the fib with the confluence with your volume profile levels, basically?
Of course, yeah, that's key. And I don't use a lot. If you look at my, is a golden zone for me. So usually between 61.8, 68.2 is good. GV, or I believe GV, he uses actually 70.5. I back tested that one, which is right here, and it actually hits a lot. I can't agree that it's a fib number. I did some math on it, and I could not come up with the fib ratio on it, but it does hit. So, I mean, if you want to use this as a zone here, you're welcome to, but I just like to use the one that I'm used to.
Shorty, I thought you went from top to bottom, top, and then the both of the 0.5 would line up, and you would have a 618 on the top and 0.
Yeah, that's exactly what you would do. If I wanted to grab here to here, the 50% is not going to change because it's one half. And then this one is actually going to shift a little bit, and this would be your 38.2 on the other side, and then this is just 1 minus this, and then this is 1 minus this.
And what's
so you're going to have identical levels in here.
What's the zone you call in the middle?
This one here, usually you don't want to trade this, right? Between the 68.2, on the long run, people don't trade. Like here and here, they would not trade that on the longer run. But I trade it. That's the fibs. But this is a good, the 41.55 here that you guys see, that's an all-time high to October low fib. So it's a big one to remember.
There's a name that you call, there's a sweet zone in the middle, something like that.
Golden pocket or golden zone.
Yeah,
golden zone. Sorry, I didn't know if you were talking about something else.
Shorty, I missed one thing. When you have a retracement like Friday, do you go top to bottom or do you go bottom to top?
This one here?
Yeah, the first 15 minute of Friday, or the first, there was this, if you go in the 15 minute, this one, yeah.
You want to find out level.
If I find the 8 o'clock, right? You find the 8 o'clock and you go to the highs. I go from here to here is to find where it's going to support. From bottom to the top, you look for support. From the top to the bottom, you look for resistance.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So now if I look at this here, I guarantee you I can tell you why this one rejects here.
Yeah.
It's the 50%. Yeah.
It's the 50% of this move. And then you can, this can go on forever, right? The way you look at it. If this one here, where does this one reject? You see that it's rejecting a little bit higher. This one is rejecting a little bit weaker, right? So what does that tell you in terms of swings? If this one is going deeper into the fibs, this one is getting in the shallow side of the fibs. What does that tell you guys?
Maybe higher.
Good uptrend.
It's telling you they're losing a little bit of momentum because last time they're able to push it all the way to 78.6. This time they're only hitting 50%.
Yeah, it's looking weaker.
So it's getting a little bit weaker. And then if you look at this was a good bounce too. If you were going long, you could have caught this one for some nice points. So look at this. Where does it bounce?
Mm-hmm.
So they're bouncing now off the 50s, right? You take this out, let it run, let it come back, bounce it off 50. Seems like 50 is the sweet spot on this run because even this bounce was off 50. So they're liking the 50 setup here on the fib. Seems like they're programmed not to let it go too deep because then they scare you away. If they go too deep and make a new lower low, what happens to the retailers? And they're like, oh man, this really might die. They don't want to engage in those feelings manipulation right now. They want to make sure that you feel like you missed out. The goal is for you that you missed out.
Yeah.
And as soon as you trigger market buy, they're like, yep, we got the line. The fish is on. Okay. So that's for ES. I think it's actually fairly simple, right? I mean, I think if you want to play the SIG, I will play this. Probably the 42, even let it break. They have liquidity at 4208. I think there's a gap there, actually. If I remember correctly. There's a tiny gap there, right?
42.24.
42.24?
I thought it was 42.20, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, this is a little bit of imbalance here between these. But I thought there was a gap somewhere. Maybe I'm just hallucinating. Yeah.
So the POC is still in the same spot, huh?
Yeah, still same spot.
41.53.
Yep, that one did not change. And I think what they might do tomorrow, what I'm thinking if they're smart, is that they break this trend line here. I'm not drawing it because I don't really care for it too much. They're going to try to break this, and this would look like a really good dump. But I think this is where they bounce it tomorrow. This is where they trap the shorts, and then unless they lose this, but I think the bounce is here tomorrow. I don't see them making a lower low here. I think they make a lower low here, get the people short, and then they bounce from here. But let's see. I mean, this is just me planning the ideas what they could do. It's not something that I would necessarily play till I see the price action.
Shorty, would you trade the short from 2 sig to 1 sig or no?
No. So I would not, because I'm seeing them buying up inside in between. So sometimes if you go between the 2 sigs and you just draw the fibs, right, the 50%, it's kind of like a sentiment of between the fibs. You can use the 50% between them, but there's just not a lot of meat. And like they can pump it from here in the middle. I just don't see it, right? And now they have structure lows here in the middle. So like if they didn't have more shit to complicate, they added middle of these 2 sigs that they have a structure now. So I can't short it here when I know that there was buyers last time and pushed the price back up. Right. And you can, for the sake of clarity, you could do this and see what's going on. Look at the volume here that they built up.
Do that again.
I'm just zooming in on from this breakout of the first sig now to look to what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that there, this 41, what is it, like 83-ish?
Yeah.
It has some decent volume here, guys. And they're happy trading here. Look how happy they're trading here. They broke above it. They didn't like it. I'm telling you, there's a chance we do this tonight where they come at 41.76. I don't know what's news. If you have news Monday, Tuesday, I know Wednesday it's big. So don't maybe there's chop, and that's what we're about to do next. Maybe there's chop guaranteed for the next 2 days. And how can we tell? We would just go to the SVP on the daily. And what do you know? Where are we opening so far?
I have a question
Within-
about the like
Within
trending.
Friday's value.
We're opening inside the previous day value. So unless they change this overnight, right? We might just hop around here, see if we accept it. 1 hour and the balance passes on 9:30, 10:30. We're inside. You short the tops, buy the bottoms. Because they're accepting the value higher. So if they are, that means we should not go, we should probably not break 41.66. So you could look for some buying opportunities in this area. And then if they break it, then there's a big daddy level here. Sorry, Sunflower, what were you asking?
Yeah, sorry. I was just curious, like on trend days, especially, I never can quite figure out like what is the retest or if they even give us one, like how to know when to, get in, or because sometimes I tend to just like let it go and just watch it go up and not get in or down, not understanding.
And I think, are you asking more about this one?
Yeah,
Or
especially
in
on
general?
Friday. Yeah, in general too, yeah.
So this was a really, really good setup for long. And that's when you asked me, I said that this is where you load up. What
Yeah,
they
I
did
took that
here,
one.
I know you did, but you hate it.
Yes, I
This is
did.
this is where you get the best bid, basically offer. You get the best deal right here. When you buy here and look at the instant reaction that you got a bullish engulfing right off the bat, and not a single low was made till this candle here, and it wasn't even that great. The only one that had some potential here to do damage here is this one, and that was a spring in itself, right? So the good question that you asked, I mean, and a lot of people, if I see, that, let's say I am looking at a big level like CPOC, think about it. It took full month of this level to be accumulated, to be built there. So a lot of people are really, really happy, and the fairest price is 41.53. This is the most fair price right now for month of April. If that's the case, if you deviate from it and you're coming back with lower highs to it, that's a retest. Because, I mean, how many times did we break above it? So look at this retest here. You took out this previous high above it. Agree? So now when you come back, you're really, really testing this previous break of the same level. And you see a nice imbalance here, right? If you look here, you need a move to happen higher and then come back. And if you zoom out, for instance, I'll just give you a test. Let's see, let's just hide all of it. Here's the 4 hours. So if I zoom out all the way now, from what level have we not tested to make sure that we have buyers there? Like, just look at the price action here. Since what level did we not test the breakout?
It looks like 39.50 or 75. I can't tell.
So this level here, accumulation happened, we broke. I would say we tested it. We came in 3 points away from this POC. I remember that because I was long. Right? You tested this demand, we popped, we came back, and you see it clear as day. You went higher and you came back. Then you reaccumulated in this area, right? You can't really use this one because this was just a reaction. Even if you grab this whole area from here to here, you'll find the level you like. You can also find a shelf that's large enough. But this area here, on a longer picture, remember, I'm looking more like daily right now. This level hasn't been really retested. Do you see any tests coming back here?
Mm-mm.
So if I was to look at this right now, I'll be like, okay, well, let me just not extend this for a moment. There's a potential you're going to come back to this 4,000, and that's going to be a good buy. Because there's going to be buyers sitting at this level, I guarantee you. Because from this point, you're creating a really, I mean, this is a really strong slope up. Pretty aggressive, I would say. Then you consolidated, you made some higher highs here. Remember, everybody said we broke the range. 62 was the range bottom, not the range that people saw on Twitter. And then we proceeded higher here, and we're still where?
At the top of the range.
Inside the range. Yeah.
We're still inside the range. So once we come to this level, this is the level that hasn't been tested. But from this demand, if you look here, From this demand, did we make a new higher high? Did we take out previous points of rejection yet?
No.
Not yet. So this demand will come here. How would I know that this demand is super strong? Does anyone know? Like, let's say if I wanted to look at this whole thing here as demand, how would I know that this demand here is super strong? How would I define that?
Has to break the supply.
It has to break this freaking supply where it struggled before. So now this is where you had I would say a strong high, and you came back, consolidated, and dumped. This supply that was not very strong because it did not create new lows. So this demand here helped. Now, if you want to take out this one and you want to be considered strong, you have to. This run up here is not necessarily mainly from here. There could be buyers that said, hey, we'll jump in here and try to push it up and create more momentum. So now if they have to take this out, right, and we come back here, guys, this would be a good level to buy because it's telling you this demand plus this demand cleared out the supply. So then when they come back, this becomes a really good buy in my world. They come back here, I buy here. And then whatever the case is, if they want to make higher highs, I don't care. I don't play for 6 months out. I play the balance a couple of weeks out, but I would buy here.
Is that 40, 45?
Well, this is a little bit less. I would say it's right at 4,000.
Oh, 4,000, yeah.
So this will be the demand I'm looking for, pretty much like right here.
Shorty, you're saying it's strong because the latest bounce wasn't strong enough to clear the previous supply?
That's
so
correct.
there's still power there?
There was power, but this made higher low, right? This created a higher low. It's not sloping down, it's sloping up. So this is your lower low. This is higher low. So this supply did not take this demand. This demand regained power at a higher level, right? And accumulated at a little bit of bigger level, right? Instead of accumulating 3850, now accumulated at 4,000. So now, if they can't take this out, that's a problem. And if they take it out and they hold, and then they, let's say we close a weekly above this level, 20, but no, that's pretty strong, right? Where's the value area? Where's 2022 POC? Does anyone have it? I can go here if you guys don't have it.
39.
Should be that 3960 something.
3960. So
Yeah.
think about this. If we fail at the 2022 value area high, they could bring it to 3960 right here. And I would say this is a demand here. Unfortunately, you could use this shelf around it or use this bigger, but I would use bigger just because it's a year worth of data. I need a little bit zone, right? So this zone here would be a fantastic long level. It would freak out many buyers if they reject this 2022 value area high, top of the bear flag. You come back here, you'll be hitting the bottom of the bear flag, a little bit below. If they trap the bears here on this massive bear flag and run it from here, there'll be dead people. I think people will be jumping off the buildings. You broke the bear flag, but you're not going lower. I mean, there would be some suicides on Twitter.
And you honestly think that could happen, Shorty?
Of course. You got to think what are other players doing, right? It's not really about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're just a tiny little fish, man.
Yeah.
The big boys need liquidity, and the whole game of stocks is about liquidity.
Yeah,
if they can exit liquidity here, and you buy calls here, and then they dump it here, and you buy puts here, oh man, they're just playing right into it's almost like playing right into their arms with everything you're doing. But this right here, this zone of 2022, and then you have this POC that we just talked about that's been untested. That's how you know a retest on the bigger picture. And then the same thing, sunflower, you would apply it to smaller levels, right? Where's the imbalance created so far here? Rejection, rejection, rejection. You broke it. Where did you come back?
The imbalance. Where was the
So
imbalance?
it literally, you rejected this point here. Look, you gapped up over it. Then you came back under it. Then you broke it. And I mean, this is a pretty good retest, right? It's not like you went one candle. I wouldn't necessarily call this a retest here. You break above it and immediately come back. Give it time. I promise it'll come back.
Yeah.
It's like a boomerang. It goes away, but it comes back. There's orders, unfinished business, usually left at imbalanced candles like this one. And if
Yeah,
you guys remember, what did I say about imbalanced candles? Like this candle right before.
Yeah, the candle before.
There's the imbalance. They came back right to it.
Shorty, if the body, what'd you say? If the wick is bigger, you go by that. If the body,
yeah, you can use
But in that case where you have such a small,
you use the whole candle here.
Okay.
This is this is a whole candle. Bomb on.
And then you're buying at the first tap of that zone, or you're 50%, or is it just?
I would personally buy here, like when it tapped, considering that I knew how important this level was, right? The importance of it, and you guys remember on the watch list and in the morning, I said the sentiment changes once you cross 53. I think I was pretty clear that that was the goal. Once you shift and vandalize, I think you actually asked, and I responded to you. Here's your answer.
Yep.
Yeah, but I have. This is one of my biggest weaknesses is on trend days. I cannot get in on the trend.
Think about it. Trend days are the most difficult for a trader that's a retail. Because we don't do the price discovery. Sure, why don't you put a bid right now at 4,200 for a contract? What do you think is going to happen? Nothing. You're just going to get filled at 4,200. The candle is not going to move.
Right. I'll just be underwater by
You're just going to be
points.
underwater for a long time.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same, when you think about the retest, right? We can't do the price discovery here, nor should you be the first one ever to do the price discovery. Usually the big boys. So when the big boy buy, he doesn't care if it's 41.55 or 41.55.25, guys. He wants to get a range of contracts, 1,000 contracts in this range. And his algorithm is like, hey, as soon as you get in here, I don't care where, buy.
See, I think the difficulty that I have, and I think maybe this is what Sunflower was alluding to with trend days. I don't know, so I won't speak for her. But the difficulty I have in this situation is, and this is why I didn't buy at 53.50, even though, like, in logically speaking and looking in hindsight, it's the perfect level. I mean, that's the CPOC. It has the most volume. So obviously, and it's an SR flip at this point, everything is lining up. But I couldn't get over the fact that it made a lower low. And so that change of character messed with me.
Well, and it did. But think now, how do I trap? What did retail see here?
Double top.
This is the easiest play the retail plays for. They live for this shit.
Right. Right.
This was a double top. And remember where I entered, if you guys go back, where did I enter? What do you guys think? When did I enter short?
Right on the red candle up there.
I entered tap. Here. They broke, and I added contract. I said, I'm in short a little bit. And then I said, hey, man, a lot. Remember the 41.73, anyone? Go check the chat and look at the 41.73, what I said. At that time, we were building a POC at 41.73.
Right, there was a shelf or something,
Yeah, it was a shelf, and I said, if this breaks, man, they're gonna dump it. And here, if you got in here, just think now logically. Who shorted here? It's called a double top. You don't short a double top here. You short the double tops on the break of the neckline. Who got in here?
Retail.
How do you fuck up the retail right here in this point? You think retail got out on this?
No.
No.
They get out on the disvalidation of the double top. Yeah.
So they shorted right here on this low, which is the change of character. But look, broke the POC. I told you sentiment really is going to be here, and boom, immediate. I mean, the drawdown was minimal. Like they just took off.
Right. So here's what I did. I did not short the top. And I did not buy 53.50, even though that was a good level, because I saw a change of character. So what I did was I waited for the retest of that imbalance, the candle before the imbalance candle, and I shorted there. Didn't work, so I got out with my paper cut. But
yes, and then think about the bigger scheme of things. You looked at the change of character, which is right. You looked at it on smaller time frames. You looked at it on 5 minutes. How's your change of character on 15 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know if there was, but I was looking at 10 minutes like you, but yeah.
That's fine. But you have to, as a trader, you have to be aware.
Yeah.
The lower low on 65 and 30 minutes, it's all the way here. If you're
Yeah.
gonna play that 5 minutes, then you have to understand what you're trading, right? Your 5 minutes, sure. If you shorted this, then you really need to get the fuck out here because the 53 is a dangerous level. If you're trading volume profile and you have a month accumulation at a fair value, and you just shifted the sentiment and you're shorting this double top, you have to have a sell order a couple of points above this.
You couldn't
'Cause
pay
they're-
me to short that.
Well,
There's no
I
way I'm
would not
shorting that.
short this, but I did short that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I would not short at 62, 63 with 55 and 53 right
Yeah,
there. So
I mean this is an idiotic trade here. Like,
yeah,
if you're gonna catch this and you might make 10 points and you're gonna be happy. There's gonna be time the slippage and you being cocky will not catch the exit. And if you're short couple of ES contracts here, this alone just wiped you out.
Yes, sir.
And then I think you asked, hey, if we retest the Sigma, I think at one point, do we go long? And I responded, yes.
Mhm.
Once we broke these highs, the high of the day, we retested and then they broke higher. And I think in the somewhere here, yeah, we had this was our initial balance low, and this was our initial balance high here. So, they rejected it here. They failed short. This was a good setup for the short for a lot of people, right? And I think if you trade ICT, there was a lot here for you guys on the short side. And if you weren't quick enough, you got screwed as well. There was bullish setups here as well. If you trade that style, there was one kind of like right here on a retest. Most would be probably stopped out trading that style. But if you look at the IBH and IBL, you set it here. You never really came back. If you grab the 50% between them, you could do that as well. But then they gave you a confirmation here. Hey, we're going to go higher. And then they came back to a retest right here at this level, which was, I had 73 as a important level, but they shifted it down, then they bounced. So if you didn't take this long, I mean, if you just look at price candle action, right? So this is your first SIG. You don't even have to take this long here. You could have played this, retest right here long and take it.
Yeah.
And this would probably be a crucial fib, I would think. 61.8.
So, Shorty, when you say retest, it doesn't always have to touch, right? It's enough that we see like a reversal.
Look at the candles around it, right? If it's a retest like this, they did leave out, there is an imbalanced candle right here, right? You see this candle? This is an imbalanced candle. So if I was to grab the top here to this one and I draw it, I mean, I would say that's, I mean, yeah, that tapped.
Yeah.
So they fulfilled the imbalance of the volume. They came back and they touched it, right? So they confirmed, and same I would say here on the bearish side, there was an imbalance here. They came back and fulfilled it as well. They filled it here as well, and now they're just doing nothing. They're actually more bullish now here. They broke the balance here. They tested the supply. They're trying to clean this guy out right now. Whoever this order was, they're trying to make sure he goes away. So they can go higher.
So just as soon as those candles are breaking, like on the trend days, you just get in, because that is something too that makes me second guess is the candles. They trick me, like where I'm like, oh, it's gonna go down, but then it goes up, and I never know if it's a retest or if it's not.
If you're looking stuff on 1 minute, the retests are not gonna be like, if this is a 1 minute chart, for instance, right? Say I'm using this candle right here as an imbalanced candle. Right, this is a good retest. On 1 minute, this is a perfect retest. You go here, you come back here, this is a buy level. And most likely you're gonna go to here. This is a retest on 1 minute. Now I change on 15 minutes.
Might have to get in on the pullback.
Right, this is no longer a retest. I have to look at the picture and be like, okay, well, where did the imbalance happen? Well, imbalance started on this candle, and look what happened already. They popped. Where did they come back? They bounced already.
There again, yeah.
So on 15 minutes, they already completed this retest. On 1 minute, they have a little retest here. So you're playing the timing of the retest, right? And then if we looked at the 4 hours, I showed you where the retest was, right? And even if they come back here now, it wouldn't be a bad long, but now, you know, if you think about it, they already tried once from this level and they're not breaking the third sigma. So logically, it's like, okay, well, if you're from CPOC, which is a fair value, the most fairest value of this month is here, and you're not able to find buyers, the peanut butter price is at 41.94, but there's not buyers buying peanut butter. What would you do as a seller? Have to drive the price to where you have an active auction. Market is about auction. It's about the dealers and locals. They're about creating liquidity so they can sell the spread.
Well, you got some right there too, right? At the first thing, you got buyers.
Yeah, of course. There's going to be buyers here. I mean, there's an imbalance created here. Just look here. I'll grab from here to here. I'll grab from 53 to here. Look.
Yep.
Your value area low is 68. You have a massive node here.
Yep.
Right? So if they're able to, and you see this level from earlier that we talked about, 82. So don't be surprised if they come in right here at 82 and pop. And they have a shelf that they're defending right now. These people, whoever is there buying at this time of the day, they're buying right to defend the shelf. If they fall inside, people are going to try to short, and then they're going to get slaughtered. They're going to bounce from here. I'll leave this on just so you guys can see it. Okay. Let me check NQ. Actually, my mouth's so dry. I need to get water. I think I updated this. Let me make sure. Maybe I didn't. I would say I did not.
So, Shorty, you color the different VAs on different with different colors, right?
I
so
do,
it's
yeah.
easier for you. Yeah. So you have like 6 colors.
I color
'Cause it's
coded
3
so my
sets.
brain can pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, because you want to know where the low volume and the high volume is on the value area.
Yeah.
So this level here, I don't see any weight to it. I don't know what that one is.
Yeah, they're bouncing at the 41.82 right now.
Okay, and this is also a big week on May. Don't quote me. Check 3rd and 4th. There's Apple earnings. If by some chance Apple is able to do what Microsoft did, 10%, SPX goes to 4,300. Okay, so that's a really big level. Apple makes a good chunk of S&P 500, so it's the heaviest weighted.
Yeah.
And here I'll give you guys something to think about. And if I wanted to buy this long, where do you guys think I should?
CPOC.
Yeah, CPOC.
CPOC is good for a bounce, correct? If I want to buy a long swing, where do you guys think I should?
Long swing?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Probably you'll have buyers defending here. If you're patient, you get it in this range again. Right now, we are sitting, guys. This is where people fail. We are sitting at the top of a range. I don't give a fuck who said that we broke out. Nothing broke out, guys. There's zero breakout here. What is breaking out here?
No, nothing.
Nothing broke out. And people, that have 200,000 followers and charge $10 a month to give you a fucking chart said that we had a great breakout here. Clear breakout as a day. I'm sorry, but there's no fucking clear breakout as there's nothing breakout clear as the day here,
Thank God
guys.
you teach us about breaker structure, man, because it's so important.
Did you break a structure here? If you consider this structure, okay, let's consider that this is our structure. Really? The structure really on SPX doesn't kick in till here. Lower high, lower high, lower high, and lowest monthly candle. And when you see a breakout, remember, if you read Anna Cooling book, page 49 or 51, somewhere on the bottom paragraph, it's going to talk about manipulation. They can't do it at once. They give a dip and then they momentum up, they jump.
Yeah.
And then retail is like, oh man, I missed it. Then they run it again and the retail buys the dip. And what do you think the big boys do at those levels?
Dump.
They're like, here's my inventory. Here's my peanut butter. Please take it at this level. Then they do it again. They can't drop it too fast because what will happen to the retailers?
Panic. Get scared.
They're going to get scared. The key is not, you don't want to kill the chicken that gives you the egg, right? You want to keep that chicken happy and confused.
Yeah.
Right? So as long as they're happy and confused, then you create the greed. At the top now, if we get this clear breakout over the trend line, and then you jump in, and then the pigs get slaughtered.
Yeah.
You come in, and then they teach you a lesson. Hey, this is not what Anna Cooling did for me in the book. You really have to understand the volume. Are the institutional buyers involved right now on this breakout? Are they involved?
No. There's no way.
There's no fucking way. Look at this pile, guys. Here's your SPY monthly volume. They're not involved. Here's your weekly volume. Are they involved here? So you have an uptick in the volume above average, and this could be used as a stopping volume, right? I agree. Yeah, stopping volume. Bullish stopping volume at the top.
But then who is this, Shorty? It's retail? All of this is retail?
Well, they're creating a trap for you to jump in and start believing it's going to go higher.
Huh.
Yeah.
Compare this bounce to something like 2022 volume. Let's look at it.
Yeah, that's serious.
I mean, let's just draw a vertical line on the buying in 2020. Do you really think they're finding value of SPY
No.
from 218? You really think they're going all in right here?
Absolutely.
I mean, either I don't understand market auction and value or somebody else doesn't. There's no fucking way they're buying here.
It's obvious.
One trick that I learned long way back, let me just give you this. I'll give you this, and I would say right here, I'll just show you this trick. For me, this is one of my favorite tricks. Well, maybe if I knew how to do it. Trying to make this white.
Right here.
Yeah. Here we go. I have to change the text. And if I cover this guy right here, and I tell you right here, just make sure it's not extend, right? I give you this chart. Would you buy here? Just look at it. Forget everything you know. Would you buy here?
No.
I give you this to you now. Would you buy here?
Yes.
Yeah.
When you say here, you mean like where price is currently?
No,
right,
right now where we are currently. Where we are currently.
Yeah.
You see where the price has been and where it's at. Do you buy here?
No.
No.
Okay, where do you buy?
We're gapped up on the bottom.
Let me give you an idea. This is, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just look at this data and I look at the data. If I was to grab from here, let's say to pre-COVID highs, somehow, just magically, we are bouncing right where we should bounce. I would be a buyer here.
Yeah.
I mean,
would
if
come-
the megaphone points to like 130.
Well, there's a bigger story on SPY, right? If we do get a black swan event, and we will when we get it, there's a level that we haven't been at.
That's 666.
Yeah, this is where I offer Dumpsty on sale, and I fucking sell his organs. Turn here, and I would at this level, like 133-ish. Yeah, that's where you sell everything you got, and you just buy and hold for 15 years, and you retire.
So that's a buy right there.
Yeah, and you can see here, I mean, just think about this shelf that was created right here. I'm on 3 months, guys. Every one of these candles is 3 months. Just surprising. This is your COVID, right?
Wow.
Just surprising that somehow, they accumulated here. Fucking this color now thing. It's just surprising that prior and for a long time you accumulated here and you bounce right where you should bounce. Coincidence. Market's not really coincidental, in my opinion. And here's your volume pretty much since 2008 right now, if you guys look at this. What do you notice on the volume? Where's the heaviest volume?
The bottom.
Is it where we bounced just now? Did they buy a lot here?
No.
Okay.
That's the lowest volume, actually.
Yeah.
This is called a single prints inside these 3-month candles. I mean, there's nothing there. They bounced it to create FOMO.
Yeah.
You're missing out.
There's no value here for you to buy. There's nothing there. People will get interested again here. And these are the people that are going to hurt the most.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to get a nice bounce. Markets never go straight down. It's not going to go like this, right? It's impossible. Unless it's if US defaults and a global depression hits and all the other countries start defaulting because they don't have economy, right? Yeah, this is definitely doable. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but this is doable. We haven't had a reset like that in the financial markets in a very long time. But you have these shelves and you see here, there's not a lot of buying here. I mean, I'm grabbing it to the end. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm grabbing it all the way to the end. I don't see a lot. I mean, if this is the shelf you created here by buying, that's great. I mean, it's not much. And the video looks funny. If you ever do this on the video, you will puke.
Wow.
What did you say about NVIDIA, Shorty?
Well, I said if you do the same profile, you don't even have to go that far. Don't even grab.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Average is about $5, not higher than 71. And see here, this is a healthy shelf that was created. I would say that, I mean, that's a pretty good shelf right here. I know it doesn't look good here, but if you increase this guy to like 220 on this time frame, that's a pretty decent size shelf compared to the rest. And then it's nowhere to be found. I mean, even the value, it's about 86. That's kind of what I'm looking to place orders on the video soon.
Yeah, I have the NVDS shares waiting for that same level.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking to buy again. I got AMD, as I said, 56 on the same principle. People said there's no way NVIDIA goes here. It's going higher. Sure, I'll leave an order sitting at 86. Once it gets filled, it gets filled.
86.
Okay. All right. Which stocks you guys want? Hopefully, you guys are okay on ES. We'll check periodically all that as I'm live.
Can I just ask a quick question about ESNQ, Shorty?
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about earlier, you were asking us where would we buy NQ longer term, and you said, we talked about the bottom of the second and third sig. So by that rationale, both ES and NQ, since they haven't broken out really, as far as we're concerned, isn't this where you would be looking to short it?
Yes, but we need a signal to short it, right? We
Okay.
don't have a signal yet. So here you have, if you use this as a previous low, it's a little tricky on 30 minutes because candles overlap a lot. You see that this is your previous, low because they had this little bull flag or whatever created here, and then they ran up from here. So there was a lot of news driven in between these two. Here you see them, they swept the liquidity, but they haven't broke higher. So if they break here higher, that's great. In this case, retail sees double top broken, woohoo, let's go run, and they'll start running higher. But for us, if you're looking for a swing, right? Now we're looking for swings because you're at the, it took a longer time to go down than it than it did to go up this time. I mean, think about it. We went from here, and it took some time. I mean, here 2 days we went. How many? I would say 500 points in 2 days on NQ.
Yeah.
In terms of healthiness, that's not very healthy. But if they're able to hold, let's say, this level here, which is crucial, because that would be a confirmation, let's say, on 4 hours, and you see that this low is still set here. Unless we get into some 15 minutes, you still see that that's an important level here. So going below the first sig is good because you're going to have a couple of levels broken and shocked. But really, they confused it a little bit by adding this after hours crap where they ran it from. After hours volume. I don't personally care too much for it because I know, even if I was to grab, for instance, watch from here to the end, in this case, POC is here. Many times POC is not going to be there. But that also tells me that there was not a lot of volume elsewhere on this reaccumulation. How come this did not yield the profile to shift here?
Yeah.
So this to me is what Anna Cooling talks about manipulation. Right here. That's at least what I see, and I'm gonna play it till I see otherwise.
Yeah.
And then this candle here is interesting. I wish this happened real time, but it did not. So, but if you look at NQ and compare it to ES, does anyone see which one was leading, which one was not leading? Remember, NQ was weaker going down. We knew that, right? When they broke the CPOC, ES wasn't, if you guys recall. NQ was leading price higher. Because if you guys look, they reached 3 sig on Thursday at 340.
Yeah.
ES did not do that.
Yeah, I noticed that the ES touched, obviously, talked about touched that CPOC on Friday.
Exactly. But then, exactly. Now they proceeded higher. So now, if NQ was leading higher and we can't make higher on ES, who's the first one to give you for lower?
NQ.
NQ.
No. Well,
NQ
sorry, ES. ES. Yeah.
NQ is the first one. NQ is time to turn around now. They've been there at the top longer than the ES been. This one arrived a little bit earlier. So now if they break this, let's say this level here on 65 minutes, this would be the lower low break. If they lose this shelf here, they open up path. I mean, you're talking about 100 points here. As soon as you see, if you see imbalanced candles being absorbed and a lot of selling at the top, you can guess what's happening, right? You can estimate that, there's a little bit of absorption happening. And if you look at these, if this candle had a lot more volume here, even though it's 4 o'clock candle, if this candle had a little bit more volume, I'll be really excited. But it didn't, unfortunately. But this is definitely, I would say, a bearish volume anomaly so far. And you have an indecision with a huge wick, then you break it. With the highest volume, you were not able to take out these sellers here. This is your highest volume of that day. And that candle came halfway through it. Then it took another, I call this in my world, the master candle, right? So if you look at this, they're not able to break it till 3 o'clock. And that volume relative to this volume here is, less as well. So I don't know who was buying here. I don't trust that it was big boys.
It was probably short covering.
It could, if they got stopped out here, they started buying back, and because that's how they create the greed at the top. I missed it, and then the people, I missed it. Retail jumps in, so that's how they pull in other people to get in. But this one's going to be the first one, a little bit of a sign of weakness. If they get inside this range, I would say they're probably going to go to the bottom of this range here that they have created. So on the Wyckoff, you know, if they fail inside, their higher probability comes back inside here. And if you grab the CPOC, I'm sorry, FVP from here, so they have the level where they rejected right here. So I would think they can come back to this first SIG, and this would probably be a bounce on NQ. So that's why I wouldn't short it here. To me, it's do not buy here, you know, and if we fail inside nicely, if we go up, let's say they push it up tomorrow, they do an aggressive, you know, push, and they go here, and then they start making lower lows, and we do this, would I consider entering longer shorts? Yeah. But I'm only afraid of, to be honest, Apple earnings a little bit, you know, what they might do. Because if they can move Microsoft 10% after hours, I'm pretty sure they could do some crazy shit with Apple too. So that's the only hesitation right now. And then FMOCs Wednesday, guys. And you see where we are opening, even on NQ. If you guys look, pretty sure it's going to be within the value areas all around. Well, this one is opening higher. Okay. So this is where your 80% will start if they fail tomorrow by any chance. And between here, if they lose this, they're gonna jump here really quickly, 30 points. I would not short it, but they would jump there. And here the things open up a little bit because this will be your 80% rule starting. Right? Didn't mean to do that.
Shorty, a quick question from YouTube. What are your thoughts on pivot points?
Which pivot points?
Does not specify. Nim, if you could specify which pivot points.
Oh, there's all kinds of pivot point. I don't know if he's talking about my pivot point. My pivot point's a CPOC, right? For bullish or bear sentiment. This was your breakout. If you come back and you see the NQ never did the retest sunflower here. Look.
Yeah, I see that. So that means it might get a retest.
When they come back here, you should
I'm
know
not
what
gonna
to do
hesitate
now.
that time.
And in this case, you can play Q calls and you can play, let's say, a week out. Because if you get this move from 13 to 32, that's pretty good. I mean, you probably get, you know, $4 or $5 move on Qs from here to here. So it doesn't mean play 0 DT, because the 0 DT takes a little bit of more experience on timing, management. Play a week out, play less, learn the behavior, right? It's not about making a ton of money. It's about consistently realizing the bounce, the trust, the drawdowns, management, and then you will grow, right? Yes, 0 DTs give you a better risk and reward, but like I said, better risk too, right? So you have to learn how to manage the risk. So don't be afraid to buy here further out on the call side. Because this is a good setup for me, right? If they come here and you see the shelf here, I mean, even if I go here a couple of days, this is now shifting here, 1350. But look, I mean, this has been consolidating for, there goes that one. Look at the POC. I mean, it's pretty heavy at that level.
Hey, Shorty, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting on Tradevate tomorrow, and I got my account funded and whatnot. But I know, like with Thinkorswim, whatever you buy that day, they settle, and then you get it the next morning. Correct? Obviously, that's how everything. Yeah, options. Correct.
Yeah.
For Tradevate, does it work the same way?
Future settle immediately.
Okay.
Your money settles ASAP.
Oh, killer. Cool.
Killer, but also not killer. If you get cocky and you start revenge trading, then it's a killer account.
Yeah, but of course, if you don't have discipline, correct.
That's correct. Yeah. Just keep that in mind. A lot of people think futures are easy, but trading is not easy overall, right? If trading was easy, everybody would do it. And I posted some of the stuff I was rereading the Discipline Trader book, and he talks about really good points. Same as trading I think it's actually a better book than Trading in the Zone. I think he has a lot more practical stuff in it, especially in chapter 2 that a lot of you guys could learn from. You know, he failed, he lost the house, he lost his car, he lost everything. And it wasn't even that he lost everything that triggered him. He just wanted to find out what was his mindset that was different from everybody else. He would go to the floor, right, to the bottom, to the pits, and there was not many professional positive traders, meaning that they make money on the bottom of the floor unless they found 1 or 2, and then everybody followed the 1 and 2. And he was just like, what's wrong? And then, you know, you go into the psychology and the mindset and the discipline. He said sometimes he would make $850 a day, and he would say that's not enough. He wants 4,000. And what do you think he did? He lose that.
Was that 850?
And then he started realizing 850 plus 850 plus 850, which is the game of compounding, right? You grow it little by little, percentage by percentage. A lot of people live off of the big trade bias, right? Where it's like, one trade is going to change my life. Well, all those people that made money on AMC, guess what happened to their money?
I know what happened.
Shit.
Lost it.
Yeah,
Got one
you
more
guys lost it.
question.
Yep. So,
For
What
like,
book was that?
say it again.
What's the name of that book?
Discipline Trader.
Discipline Trader. Okay.
I'll
Follow
post it.
through with that YouTube question. He wanted to know about weekly and daily pivot points.
Well, your daily, what is a daily pivot point for you guys?
IBL, IBH.
PDL, PDH.
I mean, it's the scenarios that we just talked about. Yes, it would be failure of first sigma
Doesn't it
down to
depend where we
CPOP.
open?
Where it open, where it closes.
Well, your daily pivot point is your PDPOC. If you open about PDPOC, your sentiment is
Bullish.
Bullish.
Right? And if you open below it, your sentiment somewhat bearish because you're not able to hold that fair value on the upside or downside.
Yep.
And then if you're playing off a volume profile, your weekly POC would be your weekly pivot. It becomes your POC, and your range top and bottom become what? For the weekly and daily. If you're a day trader, your range becomes your 68 and then the 2-3 sigmas for the day, and your weekly becomes the first, second, and third sigma, right? Mainly first and second.
What's your average target if you're trading futures? Like
What is
going
my
into
what?
it, like your average target, like if you're in a trade for ES, like going into it.
I don't want to have average targets, guys. I play the charts when I look for points.
Yeah.
If you're gonna trade 5 points, that's your style. People trade 5 points, right? We've had people that trade 6 points successfully, and you can do that. I personally, if I can catch on one move 15 points, I'd rather catch 15 points than, because the 5 points can be literally one candle, but it can also be a candle that goes against you. So if I don't see a setup that can get me a little bit more points, on futures, you don't want to take too many because you also have commissions that add up a little bit.
Right, which I was talking to Drew about last 2 weeks ago about also. He said those can add up quite fast.
At one point, I was averaging $260 a day in commissions.
Wow. Yeah, it's wild.
So if you're gonna trade a lot, make sure you're profitable.
Yeah, and then for ES, it's $12.50 a tick and $50 a point, correct?
On ES, yes.
Okay, and
$50 a point, $12.50 a tick. Yeah, 4 times
all right.
12.5.
And what's the what does it cost usually round trip on an ES contract?
Depends. If you're a TradeAway TradeStation, I think, what do you pay?
It's $3. $3 round trip for TradeAway.
TradeAway it's $3-4. I think mine's a little bit less, maybe because I had some deal on TradeStation. Yeah, they had like 50% off forever on contracts. I think it's a little less in TradeStation, but they require a little bit more margin on TradeStation. You guys pay 50 for minis or micros, and I don't know, like 300 for ES. I don't know what the price is on TradeAway, but here it's 300 for micro, and I think it's like 1,200 for ES.
Yeah, it's like 500 on TradeAway.
Shorty, could you take a look at Apple when you go to stocks?
Yeah. So let's look at Apple. I mean, Apple's been really, really consolidating here for some time. If you guys, just look at it, right? It's been here. golly. There you go. So if you guys look, this is where it entered the range. If I wanted to look at it, I'll grab from here to here. And right now they're probably the first sigma. So we're still in the range. So they could target probably the 95 if they want to push that market, which would push it to 180. Right. So, but there's this nasty gravestone doji candle here. And if you guys look, there's a shelf here. That's pretty much hiding. So you see the shelf right here sitting.
Mhm.
That's a pretty good sized shelf. Anytime they came to those shelves, even this one here, they rejected. This one here seems to carry a little bit more meat here. So as we're getting in here, I would say this level here will be interesting.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a really, really interesting level on Apple. So I would watch this. You know, there is a little bit of confluence here with the rejections as well. So, you know, if they clear this level, which lines up exactly with that. So they're most likely going over 176. They go to 180. I wouldn't go long here, but that's just how I play. I don't go long in any of these sigmas here. When you think about it, how much bad news the market have, supply chain, and Apple is down 6% from all-time high, 7. No, thank you. I'm not going to buy something 7% from all-time high.
Yeah, but they have new colors coming out for their iPhones. There's gonna be new colors.
Seems like somebody is not buying the colors right here.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll just say AI 20 times.
I already got.
Oh yeah, of course.
I already got yellow and mine is a 10.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I would watch this. Probably enter some. You know, if I look at this 3 sig here, I think it's between 180 and 176. Some longer dated puts, and it would be like October or November that I would play on Apple, and I would play like 125s in November on Apple. Because if you're not able to auction successfully here or and fail, you're gonna go to the bottom here. They're gonna sell all of their inventory here. Funny enough, they say the Tesla dump was because of the earnings. Poor people. You guys think this sell-off was strictly here because of the earnings, not mainly because of the built-up supply that was created here?
Yeah, look at that.
So they accumulated. Last time we grabbed it, it was 224 that we were watching. So you had this level here, and what did they do here? I mean, you pop
came
over
back
it.
for a retest.
Yeah, pop over it, and of course, I mean, like, why did you bounce where you bounced? I identified this level time back. Yes, I said that 150 is going to be a decent buy. I wouldn't buy it, anywhere else before that and here. So you're telling me none of these shelves matter. This one didn't matter, and this is a earnings drop.
Yeah, what about right there?
This is not an earnings drop. This is people clearing inventory.
No, further up, there's a bounce there, right there.
Yeah, you had a bounce, and that bounce did not hold.
Yep.
You had accumulation here in this period, and now even if I extend this sucker to the right.
Wow.
I mean, this is not an earnings drop, I guarantee you. I was bearish on it. I played it bearish. I knew it was going to dump, but it was not because the earnings that was bad. Guys, there was a lot of supply. You go from 100. You go from 100 to 200. These people that bought here, whoever did, you don't really think they sold here?
Yeah.
I don't know how to teach you anything else. If you put in $100 million and you have $200 million and you wouldn't sell, then you should not trade. I don't know how better to explain it. This is not an earnings drop. This was supply driven drop. Did the earnings help with the sentiment and freak out people? Yes.
Shorty, you were talking about Intel on the chat. Could you go over that when you get a second?
Yeah, actually, I'm waiting for Intel still. We are waiting for Intel here. I think we missed it. I didn't get a lot or any of it here. Intel does have, if they hold this 30, I think they're going to visit whatever the POC is of this range. So they got in here. So they're going to come back where 29. If I can get this anywhere, I would say on this run up, if I can get it, I mean, it should come back to 25. This would be my interest where I buy some shares for Intel. TSM, that's why I brought up Intel. TSM just looks unusually weird. They're obviously not buying it here. I don't know if anyone's buying it. There was a lot of selling here at this level, and that's kind of where they brought it back up. And they sold from here, created a trap, which was probably Warren Buffett trap. And look where they bounced it right now. They bounced it right off of that, right? I'm thinking that they're gonna come somewhere around here, which would be the SR flip for me at this level. And I think honestly, it clears the path to go a little bit lower here. I honestly think it's gonna, here, I'll give you guys the idea. I think he'll come back to this POC here somewhere. So you're talking about 33, maybe $38 might be a good range for this. I know it looks bullish on some charts, but to me, it just doesn't make sense here. It doesn't add up to everything. I mean, if you look at this supply here, this is your stopping volume. This is literally a supply that they're just selling here. Whoever is selling here is selling aggressively here. Here's your monthly. So you have a bearish engulfing on the month, right? You have a bullish breakout candle stopping. So it's a fight. But this guy that was buying here, he sold. Warren Buffett's trying to get out of the position. I mean, he got out. He has a little bit left. And if Warren Buffett buys something and he sells it 3 months later, I don't know. He doesn't sell 3 months later. He's never sold 3 months later.
I'm not looking to buy TSM, but I just have a question.
You think you'll be out soon, comma? I'm gonna go soon.
Sorry?
I wanted to say bye, period.
Judge, I think you got a hot
Oh
mic.
shit! Sorry, I was sending a voice text. I don't know why it picked.
Okay.
So my question is on that last bar. Wouldn't that be a volume anomaly? Because at least it's not right.
You have to be, I think you have to be relative to other candles. So if you look here, this candle here has a bigger body proportionally, and it has bigger volume, right? This candle has a smaller body, and this one has a little bit less volume. So I don't know if I would call it an anomaly. This one here, it's above average volume, but the body's a little bit small.
Right. That one's showing stopping volume. Yeah.
That one's showing stopping volume, and you're below it. And then this would be, in my world, this is called an SR flip, and look where the supply is.
Mm-hmm.
So this range here obviously is a no trade range for me, but anything below this is gonna accelerate, man. This one could, well, that's where it bounced. I was looking at this shelf here. This one could bounce, and it bounced 58. So anything below 81, they target 60s. And once you lose that, I think there's a bigger play here. There's a strategic play between countries here on this one at Intel. Why is Intel building all this up without any demand? Their financials are the worst they've been in a very long time, and you're building all these mega centers for what?
Government.
Well, are you transferring assets from a different company while there's might be a war over there or something? I don't know. I'm not trying to be a conspirator. I'm thinking logically, what would you do?
Right.
If you don't want China to get technology from Taiwan or Thailand, wherever the hell they are right now, Taiwan, what do? You move it.
You just buy. Yeah.
You gotta move
You
it.
acquire them.
So I would not be surprised if they were to do such a thing.
And Shorty, about crowd, you see it keep on capitulating?
There's a lot of bearish stuff going on for crowd. So they are, I would
Yeah.
say they are a market leader right now and a lot of stuff, like especially the proxy security. Do they have a chance to dump? Yes, I would think that they're going to stop leading somewhere probably in the 68% of this, wherever that falls. May not extend it. So somewhere around here, they could stop. There is a previous flip here that they bounced off already once. Bounce, they came back. So I wouldn't be shocked if they come back to this 95 level, but that would require a lot of holding and time.
So I'm currently short. Do you see 115 as a plausible?
It's going to be a good exit, a trim level right here, because that's going to be the break of structure, like a major one. If you go on the weekly,
Yeah.
That's your break of structure on the weekly here. So if you break that, then you have some acceleration happening here. So here's your POC here, and here's your value area low. So it'd be like 106-ish that they're probably targeting to go. But you don't, not necessarily do you have to catch the whole move. But this is the range now that you're in. So if I extend this all the way to the right, it should give you the POC, and you see right there at 115 is the value area low.
Yeah.
So
I'm currently short and up. Yeah.
So I mean, it's not a bad idea to always take some money off the table. At least that's how I do it. Yeah. But do whatever is best for you, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Would you please recap a little bit before you leave? Just a bit on ES.
Yeah. Let me see if anyone has any other tickers you guys want to look at.
Sure.
Shorty, can you do Disney, please?
Yeah. Oh God, I hate this time. I mean, it's back into the consolidation. So if I just grab from here to here, I will not extend. We are right back to consolidation. This level here, you need to make sure establish the dominance above the selling point, right? So I would not touch anything long here unless you're playing the bottom feeds, right? So if I was to extend this to the right, maybe this guy. If I extend this to the right, now look at it. Well, where are you bouncing, right? So you're bouncing right at this first sigma. So if you reclaim that POC, which we just talked about, then, it depends what you're doing. If you're doing shares, options, but, once they establish the 110 and they take over, I say 130 is doable. And I think it will happen fairly quickly because the volume nodes really, if you're to flip this chart, which I don't know how to do it, if you're to flip it, you will see the skew on the right side. So that bell curve needs to shift to the center towards the mean. So this would cause the mean to be somewhere around there. Like, I know this is the mean CPOC, but if you get what I'm talking about, the shift, if I was to put this upright, it would need to shift a little bit to level the volume. So it needs to fill this gap here.
Yeah, if you just rotate it 90 degrees, you're saying.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, I'm not really bullish long term on Disney at the moment till they figure out what they want to do with ESPN. And they're not making a lot of free cash flow at the moment. The only one I'm watching now for Starbucks, and if they lose this level right here, because guys, this is a clear fucking breakout. Let me tell you. On the monthly chart, you have the lowest volume of. Let me give you an idea. Find the volume bar that's less than this one here. I'll give you a few minutes. Let me keep the scale the same. So
just less than the last one.
Less than this. Find the bar that's less than this horizontal volume that I just drew here.
You can't. It doesn't exist.
Guys, we have a breakout. Yeah, just be careful what you learn. Yeah, if you don't learn from me, just be careful what the fuck you learn.
So that would be a very high probability short, right? Right there. You go above the POC and then lose it.
Yeah, please lose this level, and I'll show them a clear breakout level here. Or go
Can-
even to here, and I'll be short 120. So I'll be easy short.
Can you look at TLT after when you have a chance? It's just been going in a range.
Yeah, I mean it's it's your
Is that
20
bear
years.
flag, or you think?
I don't. You can't use volume on this, but just think, right? Here's our monthly supply and demand. Here's your demand. There's 4 stages in the market. I market 4. There's 5, but if this is our demand, this is what? This is our markup, right? And then you get a demand, you get a supply, and then you have a markdown, and then you have a
reaccumulate.
Accumulation.
So if you want to short this, by all means, short it. I would not short.
No. I was thinking long, just because of whatever, if they're going to drop rates, or if the banks go to shit. But then there's the
Well,
debt ceiling, so I don't know.
Yeah, it adds a lot of complexities in terms of news, but sometimes you have to ignore that, to be honest with you. I mean, this is what, to me, if you look at this, look at the volume right here in March on this.
So they're accumulating, you think?
I mean, let me just show you this. When is the last time you had volume as such?
At the top there.
Well, you had it here, correct? But that candle, if you look at it, I don't know what the hell. I mean, that's March 20th. I don't know what I would do with it. I would ignore that candle a little bit just because, I mean, you had a perfect spread in between body and the COVID. I would say this is a pretty good anomaly candle, right?
That's a stop loss. Get your stop loss candle.
Yeah, but I mean, there's just an unusual amount of buying here. And then you look at this one here, this candle here, obviously, they tried to sell off a lot of volume, but the wick is on the bottom. In Anna Cooling book, she covers this pretty well. She said you're going to see a lot of wicks and accumulation on the bottom. It looks like they're willing to sell here, right? But they're not selling. Shouldn't it have made a lower low if you have this much volume?
Yeah.
Right. That's why I was wondering, because I kind of want to be bullish on bonds, on treasuries, but I don't know, because it's been hanging out there for so long. I don't know if they're.
I wouldn't be
is there
surprised
accumulation?
if they drop it a little bit more here, and then I would definitely consider some here once they dip this TLT here to the middle.
Okay.
It wouldn't be bad, but they're holding this. I mean, even if you go on like 3-day candles, look at this. I mean, they're to me, it looks like they're buying here.
So maybe if they drop it on some fear of treasuries going to shit, and then that would be a good buy if it gets down there.
I think that's the setup there that I would be looking for. I'll be looking for, give me some fear, scared of people, right? Which is debt ceiling talks, and then from there, you're looking at potentially a bounce. Because this right here is just a little weird. You're selling off right here, but you're really not, I mean, the price is really not selling off. Somebody's really aggressively buying it too.
That's crazy.
Right. So I don't see what they're, I mean, it's very complex landscape right now in terms of the market news. You have the dollar, right? So you have to balance the dollar strength. You have the Chinese building up their own currency. So there's a lot of news in the market that makes you double guess. And the best thing you can do is look at the chart and what is the chart telling you? And just go back in the history of any chart and, look up 12 months leading to whatever you're looking at. Sometimes a chart tell you really cool stories. Like for instance, I think there's a cool story here in this one. Don't you
Yeah,
think?
that's pretty sick. It's so sick.
It's just a coincidence, right? Somehow. From 2020 here, if you look at this, there was an accumulation in November. But what about the period that occurred right here?
Mm-hmm.
What about this period here?
Or even that September in 2019, that bump there.
Oh, dude, this, I mean, you talking about
Yeah, that's
candles and unusual volume. Who buys a medical company in abundance?
yeah, it's unbelievable.
You know, you look at this, you look at that, and look at these reaccumulations. Pop. Yeah, there's a market. You're going well. Buy. I mean, somebody bought at 15s, guys. This thing went to 500. Well, maybe more. Yeah, 500.
Wow.
Many of you would not mind selling from 11 to 500, right?
Shit.
And just funny somehow, the big candles and volume uptick, right? But you see how they created the FOMO, right? Doubled the volume, buy. They got the retail excited. Retail is like, oh, COVID's so bad, man, everybody gonna die, buy the vaccine. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, thank you. This was our exit. Last train. And like, retest sold off. And last time, if you guys, I don't know who was, many of you here, I said there's something unusual happening here. And then they popped it. Said there was a new variant in China. I think they were testing the market, but I don't think they got the results they wanted. So just go over the market, like ignore a lot of news, right? So there's news that matter, right? I would say the rate hikes, the first rate hike usually is a sell sign. There's rate hikes and stuff that matters, but there's a lot of news that just occupy your brain and mind, and you get stuck and you get hesitant. Their goal is for you not to buy, for them to buy at the lows. Their goal is for you to buy at the top, for them to sell. So if you think, you know, I'm just going to give you an idea, for instance, of Microsoft. If you think you want to buy Microsoft here, that's great. I think it's a great value for you. Is it a great value for me? No. I'm not interested to buy Microsoft here. If you look at the monthly candles, I mean, it's a clear breakout, and I'm just not interested in it. It can go to 500. I'm not interested in it. But if you look at the profile, for instance, let's say grab a profile from here to here and just disable this guy. I would be interested here and shorting. They will get there. They will push it, but I'll be pretty interested here. Microsoft on Amazon got, I mean, destroyed on AWS growth from the CFO comments, who was scapegoat for stock fall. Right. So most likely, you know, once they reach this here, it'll be interesting to see what happens to Microsoft in this range. I'm sure it'll be the earnings sell-off once we arrive here. Well, it's perfect timing, and earnings going to be bad, and they're going to sell off, right? Yeah. So I just pay attention. I mean, look, guys. I mean, there's a shitload of going on, and now you're coming up there somehow bringing all these to supply. Why would you want to bring this to supply right now?
To get rid of your inventory.
Do you want to get rid of the inventory? I want to get rid of it. Remember, I don't want to sell it here if I see that there's a lot of people that want to buy here. If they're willing to bid, I just move my sales and I put them up, and then this price does this great breakout, you know, a little bit. This one has volume on the weekly. On the monthly, it's still same shit. There's really no volume here. This is just, in my world, that cat bounce, and they're going to create a double top, right? And then they might do another trap. They break this, and people get stopped out, and then some kind of event happens, and phew. I mean, this is pretty insane run, guys, if you think about it. From $40 to 300 in 20 years, that's pretty wild. Here's your volume profile, just so you guys know that the value is here.
Damn.
So overall, I mean, a lot of stocks are coming up in this key zones. Remember what we talked about NVIDIA? If you guys remember, we said NVIDIA has two levels. It had the 280, which we rejected, right? Once, I think, to a penny. And we said, if you break that level 280, they have a chance to run this to about 300, right? Easy. So you have a supply here and you have a supply here. So there's a resupply right here that happens. And I think I was on daily at that time. So here's the 300 level that you're looking at. There's one right here at 300s, and then you have one up here. I would watch if they break this 280. You can definitely fly to 300, but I would just be cautious. For me, this is not the setup to go long. For a lot of people, when the breakouts happen, they look to go long. I'm looking to see where's the supply that hasn't been tested. And for me personally, I'm looking to see what happens at these levels. I'm not a contrarian. I'm just trying to see what the big boys are doing at these levels, and I go with the big boys. You drop it to, you know, $108, and since then it's gone 160%, and their inventory level went up 108%. Can't make this shit up, but go ahead, keep buying here. Great. I call this bring it to my level setup. I'll wait. Okay. I guess, well, if you don't have anything else, I will.
Can you look up a
recap
SoFi?
PS. Which one?
Sorry, SoFi, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been here for some time now, between like what, 5 and 10.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
I used to have so far.
I have about 50 shares, but I'm a little bit down on it and just wanted to get your thoughts.
I mean, if it's your long-term portfolio, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a bad stock. I think they're at least innovative bank. They're more innovative than some other conglomerates there. So either a buyout or something might be looming, and it looks like they're about to make a run to 850. So it looks like they're going to target 7 probably this week, or probably within 2 weeks, 7 over 7, 850. So that's pretty good percentage on this stock. They really need to flip this right here to go.
Okay. Yeah, I have it for long term, but I was just, hesitant to buy more just because it hasn't really been doing much. But
I mean, when I buy stocks that are, if I found value in SoFi, if it was in my portfolio, right? Anything below POC here at the value area low is a good deal on a stock like this. If I can catch it at 450, 430, I'll buy here and I'll sell it at the POC. That's $1.50 on a $4 stock. Right, so that's not a bad move on them. But if it was to come up to here on this level, I would probably offload everything I had at like this supply right here, for instance. I wouldn't debate too much necessarily on that.
okay, I was about to say the same thing. I would probably sell all of mine if it went up there.
Yeah, if it goes to, for instance, here and you bought it at 4, I mean, somebody pocketed 100%. I'll mostly be out somewhere around here, personally. I wouldn't definitely not be a buyer here, but.
All right, I'll keep waiting. Thank you.
Shorty, you do a little. You gonna post the plan of ES anyway?
Yeah.
Never mind. That's okay.
Yeah, and what did we say earlier? Where they're gonna bounce? Was it this line here?
Yeah.
Did I say 85? I mean, I drew this line. I said there is some weird buyers here, and here you go. It just happened. 5 points after hours, not bad. I don't even see the volume bars yet.
Yeah, one. Yeah, I gotta tell you.
Yep, so they just bounced to here, and then if you look here, well, guess what? Where they're gonna reject? There you go.
Yep, at the February.
I mean, this very close to the
Yeah. They're
All right, guys. Well, I'll be live tomorrow. I'll put the plan up. I'll put the plan up in the morning just so I can see what they did overnight and in the morning, right? I don't think there's any calendars in the morning. Let's see. Manufacturing new orders. That's okay. This will be interesting here. Watch Caterpillar respond, CK, whoever's watching on this news tomorrow.
So if something was to happen overnight, and you wouldn't go short unless it's under the PDPOC.
Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in shorting.
Gotcha.
They're still showing some strength here, the rebound, because this was
Or-
probably right on 50% here that they bounced it between here and here, and that was right at 50% they're holding. So they're respecting the moves on 50% for this uptrend.
Or above the 3 sig.
Well, I prefer over this red line here, go and retest, and then you could catch.
Gotcha.
You have to be aware of this liquidity here, but this is my pivot point for next 6 months or 2 quarters is this right here, 2022 value area high. Potentially in the market for a car, so I'll see what they do here. This will be interesting.
That's what's on tomorrow.
And then mortgages, ADPs. When is that? I thought it was Wednesday. Is it no longer?
It is. It is. They have one.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah, so we'll see what they respond. FMOC is just the notes, right? So we'll see what they are thinking about and how. I'm thinking the word pause is going to be mentioned quite a bit in that call, and here comes the rejection. Let's see if they take out this buyer here. And now you can see how they accumulated. They created a nice little pocket after hours right here, and which was also p-value previous week value area high.
Yes,
And they dipped, reclaimed, and they popped it. I'm pretty sure they're going to tap this level here shortly. They're going to trap some shorts right here. They really should not break this candle right now here. The low, though, this one here should not be broken, which also happens to probably be 50%. Right here, let's see. They won't break that. They shouldn't break that on this run. I'll remove this so I don't get confused when I see 50. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Hopefully you guys learned something and enjoyed it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, Shorty.
Thank you, Shorty. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thank you, Shorty.
You, brother.
Thank you.
Jet, are you still on here?